speed in the lane, still getting it. Full speed in the lane, still getting it. Full speed in the lane, still getting it. Still getting it.
Hello and welcome to a very special segment of Elite Week. Today I have with me Alec Turner of the Buckyball Racers, and he's here to tell us all about the new race that launches tomorrow. It's literally in hours, and by the time this thing actually gets posted, will be tomorrow, so it's starting now when you're hearing it. So get out there. Alec, why don't you tell us all about this race?
Hey man, yeah, it's good to be back. Buckyball is back again. A series of 4 races, I think, over the set of 4 months. So this race is called Engineers Canyon Mayhem. It went through a few name changes. I think there was a kind of play on ECM, and then it seemed like it was too late to play on ECM, and then it went back to being a play on ECM. What the hell? Doesn't matter. So it's being organised by a guy called Terrasidic, who some people might know. He's more closely related with the Elite Racers than the Buckyball Racing Club. He is the organiser of the Okinura Sprint Challenge, which has been running for like years now. That kind of crazy time trial where you fly loops around a station.
Yes, great stuff.
So so it's his race, Engineers Canyon Mayhem, and it starts, like you said, tonight, midnight, officially, turn of the clock in game on Saturday, and then it runs till midnight on the following Sunday.
Beautiful. So I'm looking at the poster for this event, and I see that it is very professional and up to the Buckyballers sort of high level of accuracy and respect for everyone involved.
This one got a bit silly. It started out being very slick, and then with the name changes, there was like bits of blue tape and then scribbles, and then we kind of liked the scribbles, and so now we've drawn on the faces of all the engineers, and everyone thinks it's the funniest banner we've had, so we decided to stick with it.
I love I love Elvira Martook has the curly handlebar mustache, and the Dweller has a Fu Manchu, and Felicity Farseer is just full on mountain man.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's entirely respectful to the engineers, but that's in the buckyball spirit, I think.
I think there's plenty of players of Elite Dangerous that'll tell you that no, that's exactly the amount of respect that engineers deserve.
Yeah.
So let's get into the meat and potatoes about it. Tell me about this race.
Okay, so what I know so far, because details have been coming a bit slow, but so the deal is that you are going to have to visit 5 engineer bases. I think they're the 5 easy ones. If I remember rightly, I think these are the ones that people get first. So hopefully not too hard for people to get access to these 5. It's Elvira Martook, the Dweller, Felicity Farseer, Todd the Blaster, and Liz Ryder. So in essence, the race involves flying to each of their bases, and then there will be a circuit. Now, bear in mind this is Terracidic of Occanera Sprint Challenge and Elite Races, so these kind of circuits are like little obstacle courses. They're designed to be done either in a ship launch fighter. Actually, there's loads of classes. There's 4 classes for this race. You can do mothership with a ship launch fighter. So I think the idea is there that you'd have a ship with a decent range, because these 5, there's a bit of jump in between them. I think there's like 150 light years or so between some of these guys. So you want to get those jumps down. So a mothership to get you there, and then a ship launch fighter to go round the circuits. We haven't seen the maps yet. I'm guessing they're going to come later tonight, but I can imagine, you know what those bases are like. They've kind of got bridges and things, and the circuits will be flying under the bridges and round the buildings and things. So you can do it like that. You can also do it in a ship with an SRV, and I gather the SRV circuits will be slightly different, and you'll have to be just 1 lap rather than 3 in the SRV. You can also do it in a... Hang on, what's the Elite Racer Unlimited is... Oh, yeah. So there's a class where you can do it in a ship without launch fighter, so it needs to be a small ship to fit through the obstacles, but you can just turn up in a Viper or whatever you fancy and skim around the circuits. And then there's a regulation budget Eagle. So we always have a regulation class, which is a prescribed build, and everyone's on an even platform on that. The regulation budget Eagle, I have to say, is perverse.
It's a lot of jumps.
Well, it's got like a 1A scoop, and it's got I think it's an E power plant, so you overheat horrendously. But I don't know. I guess he thought it was funny. So some people have been testing that. That's going to be an interesting challenge. And there's another thing that the vague theme of the race is that you're ferrying the engineers around. So you have to have a passenger cabin that can hold at least 5 people. Even
on the Eagle?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's going to be interesting.
I believe so. Let me just check the build. Yeah, it's got a 3E and a 2E economy class passenger cabin and a 1A scoop.
Wow.
Oh, and everything else is stock by the looks of it. All right.
Oh, God. Yeah. I have a feeling that more than a few people will skip the regulation stock build and will be doing this in Jumpacondas with the little Imperial GU-96 or whatever, the little zippy fighter.
Yeah, sure. I think so. I mean, I think me and certainly I think Shay Blackwood are going to be going for the SRV challenge initially.
Nice.
Yeah, definitely want to give that a go.
Very nice.
We'll see. We'll see how it pans out. I hope it doesn't spread. I don't want to end up with 4 scoreboards with 1 person in each scoreboard. That'd be a shame.
So, in terms of accessibility, so Felicity Farseer is the first one that sort of everybody gets, and Elvira Martook is soon after, and Liz Ryder comes soon after. The 2 that I think they're going to be sort of maybe a little less accessible for some of the newer players in that they don't have it already unlocked are going to be the Dweller and Todd the Blaster. The Dweller, all you have to do to unlock him really is just unlock 5 black markets. So a player could literally do that in a matter of 20 minutes if they put their head to it and really Googled, okay, how do I do this?
Yeah.
And Todd the Blaster, unless I'm mistaken, I don't even think he's combat bonds. I think he's just bounties. He may be combat bonds, but either which way, if a new player like sort of that's like, oh, I've been playing Elite for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I've done a little stuff, but I haven't really done a lot of whatever. This is very, very sort of accessible. That if you want to put, I don't know, maybe 2 to 3 hours into this, you can easily. So even if you're hearing this on Saturday, the race has already started, and you're like, ugh, I haven't got my stuff. You could do a play session, make sure that all of these are unlocked, and then you can do the rest of it. Now, just out of curiosity, you don't have to have any of these maxed, right? You just literally have to land there, because I think you can land at a base so long as you've heard of it and got the invitation. You don't even have to have them sort of quote unquote unlocked. You could just land and then take off again.
I think that's right. I can't remember. It's been so long since I've done it, but I know when the engineers first came out, wasn't it the case that if you just flew to their bases without doing anything, you'd get attacked? You do have to get that invite.
You have to have Yes, you have to have an invite, but you don't have to have them fully unlocked. So, for example, in the case of the...
You won't be doing any engineering, so you've just got to be able to land at these places.
Yeah, so you just have to get past phase 1 of getting the invitation to them. That is very, very easy to do. Like I said, for the Dweller, it's just unlock 5, I think it's 5 black markets. And for Todd the Blaster, it's I think it's bounties. Like, just bring him enough or just even collect enough bounties, and he'll be like, oh, okay, you're on my radar, come in, whatever. You don't even have to really go farther than that. But I have spent many an hour watching Sanderling do some crazy stuff, specifically at Deciat around Farseer space. That's one of his like fun haunts that he goes and he flies and whips around, where you're like, how they have those things where it's like, it's almost like sort of a what is the name of that? Is it a butte? There's a landscape term.
Well, there's like gantries that go across some of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So that's what that butte is, like that thing where it's almost like a mountain that goes like, almost like, it looks like a sort of like a volcano, like in Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And on that, there's like a ring of like a valley that goes around it, and then there's land on the outside, and those gantries strut across like bridges from sort of the mainland onto that little sort of dry island. And you see him like flying under and over and doing loops. So I know if Terracitic's involved in this is it's got to be. So it's going to be weird, because obviously for the SRV bit, it's going to be just some form of, do a lap and like hit these sort of key like slaloms, hit these key points. For the SRV bit,
I'm slightly nervous about it. I'm nervous about the SRV bit. So I've seen one. He's released one. He's released the
Elvira.
Liz Rider. He's released the Liz Rider map. Liz Rider's base has got those big mining rigs, like those massive laser mining rigs. And the circuit for that is basically just a circuit around the central building. I think there's 3 kind of bridges to go under, and then you use the mining rigs as corner markers. So that one is fine, and I was doing laps of that this morning, if that's the final circuit, and the lap took, I don't know, like a minute or 2.
Okay.
But yeah, some of those other bases, I'm nervous about what the SRV circuit might be. I mean, his estimates, he's posted some estimates that it might take about 40 minutes to do the full race with ships.
Yeah, well, a good chunk of that is going to be jumping from spot to spot.
Yeah, now he's estimating double that for the SRV, which makes me nervous.
Yeah, I dig it. I think, for sure, the SLFs are going to have, like, if you're trying to compare the two, the SLF is going to have the advantage on speed over the SRV, but that's not the point. The point is that it's 2 separate races. The SRV race is against other SRVs.
It's not head-to-head, and I think I'm right in saying that the SLFs and the ships, you got to do 3 laps, and the SRV, you've only got 1, so that'll equal a bit. I wanted to say, actually, on this, and the whole thing of getting the engineers and stuff, that I think we've spoken about before, but with the buckyball races, it's winning is like the last thing we're sort of worried about, really. I mean, now's not necessarily the best time for this, because people have things to do. People are focused on carriers, and they're focused on LTD mining and stuff. But really, you can do that stuff anytime. Okay, these gold rushes come and go. And what the buckyball races are more about is just take a break from what you normally do. You can do that shit anytime. But if you just drop that for a week and come and do this, for me, 5 years of playing this game, these races really help to just break up the grind and get you to focus on something different for a while. And spend a week doing it is what I'd recommend, because just drop what you're doing and come and do this.
I couldn't disagree with you more, because the thing is, you say like, well, people got stuff to do, people are busy. No, this is why it's the perfect time for this, is because let's say, for example, you are one of the guys that were late to the party at Baran, and you've decided just now that you've seen other people do cool things that you want a fleet carrier of your own. You're gonna get to the point where you're just staring at rocks till you want to slam your head into the monitor. And it's great to have an excuse to just fuck off and play for a day and just like, I'm gonna do this fun, silly, pointless, but awesome thing. Because I'll let you in on a little secret. Everyone who has goals in this game, and I am captain of the I have goals in this game. I'm doing shit that's like ambitious to this level of being stupid. But it's great. Here's the thing to keep in mind. It doesn't matter what your goals are. It's a video game. It's all a waste of time. So have fun with it. So I've been grinding the dark wheel, and like that's fun. But it's great to have an excuse to just go play and to remember sort of when you first hopped into a spaceship and you were like, ooh, this is cool. Oh, look around. It's nice to like reset yourself to a point of, and it's weird because the buckyball racers and the buckyball race and the elite racers, all of this, it's a very weird mixture of childlike enthusiasm and play and just, hey, I'm going to fuck off and have no responsibilities and we're going to have some fun. Yeah. Mixed with like a high level of skill of like, ooh, I'm going to really try to like better myself and like challenge myself and whatever. So it's the perfect mix there. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Two things. Yeah, I mean, you learn a lot. I say this, but you learn something in every race. And people think, I know how to do this stuff. I know how to use a ship launch fighter. But I tell you what, we've had a race with ship launch fighters before, and I hadn't used them that much. I knew how they work. But when you're racing and you start to think about, okay, so let's say, for example, that you're racing and your mothership follows you while you're racing around the circuit, and maybe it gets itself into trouble, and you think, okay, I need to give it the order to stay where it is. When you get to the point where under race conditions you're trying to you want to deploy the thing quickly, you want to get away from the ship, you want to give the order back to your ship to stay where it is, you want to do whatever circuit it is, request landing permission, get back to the ship, land smoothly. You do that kind of circuit 4 or 5 times, you master things like getting in and out of the SLF in a way that you just won't otherwise. So you really hone so many different skills.
And in shaving those seconds off, when you're looking at just shaving 5 seconds here or 3 seconds there, you up your level of skill. And then when you get to a point later where you need it for a completely separate reason, you need it because, oh my God, the clock is ticking on when we can turn in this mission, or oh this or oh that. You're going to have those skills to fall back on, and you're going to like take your game to the next level.
Yeah, and it's not even necessarily about going fast. People might think, I don't need these skills because I'm not in a rush. But, a classic thing in Elite is that you get yourself into a situation like, I don't know, you get interdicted on the way to Shinrata, and you panic because it doesn't happen very often, and you forget that you need to have a system selected and you need to highway get out. And honing those skills so that they're kind of more second nature, and that you don't panic, that you know what to do because you've done it 5 times over in a race. That sort of getting those things kind of ingrained is so useful in so many aspects of the game, and not just aspects that are to do with speed.
100%. So, like I said, I think this is the perfect time to drop this because the new stuff has already been dropped. The people that were going to get it day one, they already had it day one. So you're not going to have sort of new stuff of that level that you have to like, oh, I got to work on this or work on that for several months, if not, upwards of almost a year. As far as having the goals of doing all the stuff, I salute that. I absolutely am a huge fan of all of the cool stuff people are doing with carriers. For sure, do that. I'm absolutely having a great time doing stuff with the Dark Wheel mission, whatever. But there's always that draw, that fun, that like, hey, I want to go play hooky and do a little thing. And this is the perfect this is the snack for people that have the munchies, that they want to just do some fun stuff.
I'll tell you another thing, actually. I'm not sure I've sort of said this before about buckyball racing, but I know some people are quite serious about their role play, and they're quite serious about Elite, and they have a character in the character federation or whatever, and stuff like maybe the Hutton Truckers, that seems a bit silly to them, and it kind of spoils their serious role play, which I'm not. It's great. I love that people do that. Now, here's my take on buckyball racing: is that in real life, we do jobs to earn money and to earn credits and to buy ourselves a bigger car or a bigger house or whatever. But really, what's the purpose of all that? Ultimately, you do all that so that you're comfortable and can go off and do the things that are fun, whether you like playing golf or you're into football or you're into racing. There's people in real life that do the equivalent of mining and all that stuff, and they do it so that they can fund their hobby, which is to go and jump in a little go-kart at the weekend and go go-kart racing, or to go cycling down hills at the weekend. That's what buckyball racing is. It's not silly. It's just part of life in the Elite Dangerous universe. That's how I view my character. I earn money like everyone else. I go and do a bit of grinding on mining and stuff, but I do that to fund my hobby. It's not. People shouldn't view it as silly, and it's part of life in the Elite Dangerous universe. And I love that the Buckyball Racing Club has become such an established thing. You've got the hollow ads outside stations and things. It's part of the Elite Dangerous galaxy.
To that point, I think the Buckyballers actually offer you this interesting and almost sort of unique opportunity in that for the people that have the Hutton Trucker mindset of, we're doing all this for the lulz, we're just having fun, for the mug, let's be silly, blah, blah, blah. I think the Buckyballers encapsulate that spirit, that esprit de corps of like just for the lulz and having fun beautifully. But for the other side, for those people that you said sort of disdain the Buckyballers and the Hutton Truckers, they disdain the sort of for the lulz mentality. Let me just point this out. If you are super serious captain, role player guy, right? And you're like, I am visitor, ambassador, admiral of the first fleet of Lavigny's Legion, and I blah 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 blah. Okay, cool. If you're that dude, first off, hats off to you. If you're having fun with it, go do that. That's cool. I'm not making fun of you at all. I think that's awesome. If you're that guy and you're role playing in universe, in galaxy, and you're Mr. Whatever, how awesome, how much cachet would that give you for Lavigny's Legion as the Grand Ambassador or whatever, if you're also a world famous racer that just broke a world record on some new racetrack or whatever? Like, what's like, sadly, I don't know like Formula One racers, but I know like people know them, they follow them. Like, name a famous race car guy, like a famous, like real Formula One guy.
Lewis Hamilton or someone like that.
Exactly. So for all of you guys out there who I'm sorry, I'm a heretic American. I know UFC fighters and I know football players. I don't know anything else. I'm sorry. But for you guys out there that are looking at like a Lewis Hamilton or whatever, if you're super role play guy, imagine, for example, or I'll put it in a way that everybody can get. Imagine you're Tony Stark. You're the rich billionaire guy who also has the crazy race cars and is out there doing cool shit and setting world records or whatever. So if you're captain, I'm super serious role play guy, wouldn't your character be awesome if he was Tony Stark too? So like maybe give it a try.
I'm trying to think of examples, but I know there's kind of like sort of princes of sort of I don't know, Arab states or things that are also bloody good, motorcyclists or something. Like, how cool is it that Steve McQueen, who's like a serious actor, and that was his role, his job, he was a shit hot like racing driver as well.
Oh yeah.
And that just adds to his character. That doesn't detract from it. That just makes him like doubly awesome that he can do that.
Oh yeah, when he did Le Mans, he fell down the rabbit hole of like professional race driving. He did all kinds of stuff with those guys. Yeah, man. Great movie, by the way. If you're too young and you haven't seen Le Mans, go watch that movie. Steve McQueen, you have to watch Le Mans, you have to watch Bullet, and you have to watch The Great Escape. Go watch those movies.
Yeah, amen to that. Great.
All right, so getting back to this race, let me ask you a question. Do I have to go, is it a prescribed, like I have to go Elvira to the Dweller to Felicity to Todd, or is it like I could go, like if I work out some kind of like Moneyball math, could I do Elvira to Felicity to Todd to Dweller to Liz, or is it like prescribed? You have to follow these courses.
You can do the 5 in any order. And what there is a little, on the forum thread, and we'll give you the link to find that in a minute, but on the forum thread there's a matrix, and what it is it's a 5x5 grid of Desiat, Eurybia, Wolf 397, Kun, and Weird, so the 5 systems. And in that grid, you've got the distances in light years between each of those 5, so distance from Desiat to Eurybia and distance from Kun to Weird, and so on. So it took me about 10 minutes to sit down and look at that grid and figure out a route. You know, the first thing you do is you look at the route and you go, okay, the distance between Kun and Desiat is nearly 300 light years, so we don't want to do that hop. Definitely don't want to go Kun to Desiat. So you quickly kind of scribbled that. So that's kind of fun. I mean, everyone probably ends up doing the same route, but you know, there's a nice little bit of race planning in there as well. I quite like the races where it's not given to you on a plate and you've got to find a route.
Well, I can also, if you want, I can give a little spoiler. You know, I'm going to give a little spoiler. This is just everybody else, people who are not Elite Week listeners, you know, they don't get this tip. But Elite Week listeners and my good friend Alec Turner gets this tip. If you go to Commander's Toolbox that Down to Earth Astronomy put out, and you go to his multi-stop route finder tool, and you literally just type in those 5 systems, it will go through the computer matrix of all of the possible things and will tell you this is the quickest way, this is the most economical way to accomplish the entire route in the least number of jumps.
Oh my! I did not. You know, I knew that. I knew the toolbox. I didn't know it could do that. I'm going straight there after this interview and see if the route I picked is a good one or not. I like it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting if it shows up like, oh, actually, if I switch, you know, the number 2 stop with the number 4 stop, I can shave off 30 light years off of my total trip.
You know what? Here's another thing, and again, part of the learning experience in it, not just all being about speed, but when you, so you know, you pick your route and then you go and fly it, and then if you use the route plotting mechanism where you're going through white dwarfs and neutrons, sometimes you can find that the less obvious route is less jumps because you can squeeze in. Like when I was doing the circuit, what's the one neutron star in the bubble? Jackson's Lighthouse.
Lighthouse, yeah.
Yes, Jackson's Lighthouse crops up in some of these routes.
Nice, yeah.
So that's interesting. If you can get Jackson's Lighthouse to be one of the stops between 2 of these, you can turn this route around a bit and save a couple more jumps.
And you could also, you know, use some Gymponium as well. There's definitely that's the brilliant thing about a buckyball race, is because it's a chess. It's just a very open. It's not like, oh, you have all of these rules. It's very open. You just attack the problem in the most, you know, efficient way you can figure out.
There's more to it than just sticking your foot down and going fast. Yeah.
Right on. All right. So we have the classes for people, so you know the different types, the different ways of doing it. We've told you about the race and how it is. We've told you about the guys to unlock. We've given you a hot tip about what to do to sort of plan out your route the most efficient way possible. So now we're going to end with, well, okay, where do I find more information in this? Because I'm interested, I'm down, I want to go play hooky and do some fun stuff and up my skills. So we're going to hit the 3 biggies, okay? The first one is going to be the Bucky Baller Discord. Give us the link for the Bucky Baller Discord, Alec.
Well, do you know what? I'm not sure if we've got like one of those quick links, and the actual links always have like some horrendous string of letters and numbers on the end. So what I will say to people who want to, the easiest way to find it, and it's the same for the race, is go to our website, which is buckyballracing.org.uk. On the homepage there, right at the top, you'll see this Engineers Canyon Mayhem banner. You can't miss it. It's the one with the engineers with yellow scribbles all over their faces. click on that, and that will take you to the forum thread with all the rules. And if you scroll to the bottom of that page, right down the bottom, there's a big Discord link.
Beautiful.
Just hit that.
You hit all three in one. So you can find it by checking the community forums. You can find it, information about it, and talk to people and get advice and help plan your stuff by going onto the Discord. And all of that, you can find links to all of that from the actual Buckyballer Race website. I'm going to have...
I'll tell you another thing, actually. So when you drop into the Discord, you'll probably pretty much quickly land in... There's a general chat channel. Say hi. You know, I see so many people drop in the Discord, and if I'm there, I'll kind of say hi. What brings you to the Discord? You know, but a lot of people are very quiet. Just say hi. We're a friendly bunch. And then what we'll have just underneath general chat, we've got a channel. The next one down called Engineers Canyon Mayhem, and that's the chat for discussing this particular race. And then there's channels for standing, some of our standing challenges. And there's channels for past events and hints and tips. And so, drop in and have a scroll around and say hi as well.
Do me a favor. When you drop into the Buckyballers Discord, just say Elite Week says hey. And then they know. That way they know where you're coming from. And as we discussed already before with the race from last month, there is also a thing for the Buckyballers where you have all of your past races are archived below. So you can go, when you join the Discord and you say Elite Week says hi, talk to people, and then say, hey, I want to do this Engineers Mayhem race, but I'm also looking for something, next week or the week after, this sort of, to waste my time and have some fun and up my skills. And you can go digging through the entire archive of past races, and 99% of them are still active. Every once in a while, you have something where something changed and it's like, oh, but 99% of all of those old races are still 100% viable. You can run them. And then just when you run them, just post in the general Discord, like, hey man, I just ran, race number 26, the blah, 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 blah. And I got 18 minutes, and somebody will be like, oh, that's awesome, dude. I remember when I ran that one 2 years ago. Have you tried this or that? Somebody will strike up a conversation with you.
Yeah, for sure.
So go have
the other thing is that if you're part of a group, if you got 3 or 4 buddies, or you're in a squadron, or you're part of some other group, and you just fancy a weekend where you do a race, just drop in, pick one of the past events, and do it together. And pick your times against each other.
That actually could be a very interesting idea. You see a lot of times where, and I mean, let's be honest, between now and presumably March 31st, when everybody's sort of suspecting that Odyssey is going to drop, there's a lot of time to fill. Yeah. So there's a lot of Discords out there. There's a lot of content creators out there, whether you're a streamer or a YouTube video guy or whatever. There's a lot of squadrons. There's a lot of player factions where it's like, hey, or even you might be none of those. It's me and my 4 friends. I play Elite. I talked my one friend at work into playing Elite. My brother plays Elite and his wife plays Elite. It's the 4 of us. And we just we're our own little ragtag group. We're our own little informal squadron. I think an awesome thing to do if you want to have sort of like, if you're a player, like I said, in a group like that, or you have a squadron, or you're a content creator, and you want to say like, man, I want to make a fun, silly event, but that's a lot of hassle to sort of organize and figure out and whatever. Yeah. You could just steal them from the Buckyball Racers for free. You could literally just go, next weekend, we're having an event, and we're going to do a race, the 4 of us, or the 8 of us, or the 12 of us. We're going to all go race, and then just go digging through their thing. Like, there's no reason to not start with the Engineers Canyon Mayhem, so that you can actually also register for the current race that's going. But even after this race has come and gone, you can just dig through and find one that strikes your fancy and say, yo, the 5 of us are going to run this, and whoever wins, we're all going to chip in, whatever. We're all going to chip in 500 low temperature diamonds or whatever, and whoever wins takes the pot. And then, with fleet carriers, it's easy to trade money and to trade stuff nowadays. You guys can figure that out super easy. That's like you literally have like 50 built-in events that you can just take one for free, do zero work, just copy and paste, and your friends get to enjoy.
Yeah, people are not starved of content.
For sure, Matt.
There's too much to do. One other thing actually I wanted to say on the Discord is if people, listen to this and they click the link, for whatever reason, if they just go, I can't be asked for that, or it's too much to read, or I'm not good enough. If you've got a reason why you're not interested, if you can spare 1 minute just to drop in the chat and say, I'm not interested because either A, we might be able to put your mind at ease, and that it's not as hard as you think, or B, we can learn. If there's some reason why people, that we're turning people off, that it's too difficult, or the screenshots, we'd love to know. I'd love to know why, if people are turned off by anything. Right
on, man. For sure. And maybe if you came in and said, hey, I like the idea of doing a race, but here's my problem. I don't have access to engineers, or I don't have this, or I don't have that. Maybe you'll say something in that chat which will spark somebody, one of the race designers, to say, or, maybe you'll spark one of them to do something, or maybe it's time for you to step up and say, I've looked over this race and this race and this race. Man, I really just want a race that's all SRVs racing up and down canyons or whatever. You know what? That's the awesome thing about the Buckyball Racers. You can go to them, tell them your idea, tell them, like, I want to start here, go here. One of the guys that does the race, like, course design, one of those guys that's sort of the pros on it, will help you and can help you. Like, Alec can help you and say, like, okay, if you pick a starting point here, you need a fixed point, you need a fixed point, you need a fixed point, you need an end point. They can help you. You can craft one that you think is awesome and put it out there and, get it started.
Yep, definitely.
All right. So in the show notes for this, we're going to have the Buckyball Race Club website. We're going to have the link to the forum page with this exact thread on this race, and we're going to have the Discord. Go join that Discord. Tell them Elite Week says hi. Alec, thank you for coming in, and I can't wait to talk to you about next month's race, where I actually am going to be sort of involved in lending a little asset.
We're going to need it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we'll
right on
next month. But thanks, Kai. That was great.
All right, beautiful. Guys, I'll talk to you later.
Landing gear retracted.
If you got the wings and the rebite, it would the small ship to big. It's the first past the post. Everybody's lined up, staring at the slot gap, smiling at those glasses with the Top Gun figures on. Pitchfork waving at the neutron thruster, boy boost to the max as we skittle off the toaster rack. Turn, maybe turn before you even think about it. Gotta be slick like an oil tank spewing it. We got the speed and need. We're racing out the galaxy. Hop on board with the elite racers. Everyone's flying high. Galaxy, hop on board with the elite racers, everyone flying. So you learn the way of a bruised addict, waiting for the charge lines, even when you're sleeping in your bed. In your head, all you see is a raceway turning, pulling on that boost finger in your dreams. Get in the flow like a neutron, but boy, you know they're gonna hit you if you get in their way. Spin like a record, baby, FAI% you crazy. This is the whip crack and you're slow ass. We got the speed need. We're racing around the galaxy. Hop on board with the elite racers. Everyone's flying high. raceway. Lose an ego as a Lano too. The Farseer Classic makes you feel quite tragic, but you finally get that feeling, yeah, you shitting on the back at the Squirrel Nest Bar, racing to the front of Corrado too. You set the pace at the Kuiper Raceway, everybody talking about you. We got the speed, we're racing around the galaxy.